Hello and welcome to Bingewatch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the editor-in-chief of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwan, writer on TV Satellite Week, TV Times and What's on TV magazines. And today we're looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday the 13th of March 2026, including Louis Theroux venturing into the Manosphere in a Netflix documentary, and a new adaptation of Barbara Taylor Bradford's A Woman of Substance, starring Brenda Blethyn and Jessica Reynolds, on Channel 4 streaming.
And we'll also check out ITVX missing persons thriller Gone with David Morrissey and Eve Myles, and Prime Video crime drama Scarpetta, featuring Hollywood star Nicole Kidman as a brilliant forensic pathologist. But first, Ian, what is in the news?
Apple docuseries Twisted Yoga will tell the story of a group of yoga students and their reclusive Romanian so-called guru. What could possibly go wrong? What else is in the news, Hannah?
Well, Matt Dillon will be joining the cast of Paramount's reimagining of the classic Western The Magnificent Seven, which sounds interesting.
A strong lineup this week, I would say. We're going to start on Netflix with a new documentary called Louis Theroux, Inside the Manosphere. And here's a clip.
What would you say is the message?
I coach boys how to make money,
Wow, this is a nice spot.
how to be outside the system, how to be proper guys.
Shut up, Bernardo. Would you see me that way? Did you look at my arms?
The stature's not saying too much.
I was entering the Manosphere, a wild frontier of streamers whose behavior is reshaping the culture.
People ask me, why Miami? And I tell them, because if it was 120 years ago, I'd be on a horse on the way to California to dig for gold.
So I think this is one of the most depressing things I have ever watched. However, I would recommend it. I say it's essential viewing. I'm a big fan of Louis Theroux. Obviously, he's been going for quite some time now. And in this, as the title suggests, he's looking at the world of online influencers who are shaping young men's ideas about masculinity. So I'll start by saying I know a couple of young men who I would think of as pretty evolved and, intelligent. And they both said to me that they thought feminism had gone too far. And when I heard that, I just thought, women haven't even got they're not even close to getting equality still. There's so far to go. So if a lot of men are thinking that way, we've taken a giant step backwards. And this is where they're getting these ideas from, these people. So, Louis, he's meeting Harrison Sullivan, also known as H.S. Tiki-Toki. He's also meeting a right-wing American called Myron Gaines, who's written a book called Why Women Deserve Less. Wow, that's good stuff, right? So, obviously, they're highly suspicious of Louis, of course, because, they think he's trying to stitch them up, basically. So, H.S. Tiki-Toki, there's also Sneeko and Clavicular, who is, he's all about looks maxing, which originated in incel culture, which is short for involuntarily celibate, which is about, boosting your appearance. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with that, but some of the ideas are just horrific. So there's this one-way monogamy, where the men can cheat, but the women can't. There's this idea that women are born with value, but men aren't. I mean, come on, men control virtually everything. Get real. The red pill idea, which comes from the film The Matrix, which is various ideas associated to that, including the idea that feminism is evil and they always think a secret cabal runs the world, these people, don't they? For God's sake. So, horrifically depressing that so many young men are being heavily influenced by this utter bullshit. And there's one particular excerpt where I think it's a podcast or something that this guy is hosting, and he's got some young women in it, and he's just so horrifically rude to them in the way that obviously these men think about women. He says, "You fat effing bitch, get the F out of my studio. You're not attractive. You're huge." So, and yet these guys, I mean, with this, staggering lack of self-awareness, they say they love women, but they just know what's best for them. I mean, it's really, really depressing. But Louis does a great job. And, we do need to kind of try and understand what the hell's gone wrong here, because it's very, very dark, these awful ideas that these people are spreading. And really, I mean, as he explains, it's all about making money, basically. It's to draw people in and then sell them things, these sort of shock value tactics. But yeah, utterly grim, but fascinating. What did you think, Hannah?
Oh, that's what I thought. For me, brilliant, as in it's great to shine a spotlight on this because this is truly awful. And of course, we read this, don't we, in newspapers, column inches everywhere about this kind of this world, and it almost feels really quite unbelievable in a world where women have come so far, yet have still so far to go. The gender pay gap, the boards, the CFOs, the stats are all there for the taking. And that's just that's a reality. But this kind of level of absolute toxicity aimed at, in my opinion, minors often via social media is why I'm so anti-social media corrupting young minds. Because when you're an adult, you have a choice. You have a maturity, I suppose, and with that comes a decision that you can make yourself. When you're young, you don't have that. Now, I'm a governor of a school, of an infant school, and this is something that governors are having to know about. We're having to learn about. It's part of our safeguarding training. And the teachers, these children are 4 when they come to school. This is part of what some children are being exposed to. And I'm not going to use his name because I don't want to give a platform for it, but we all know who I'm talking about. And that is the point. This kind of disgusting, misogynistic behaviour that still seems to be accepted and tolerated, and it's wrong, and it really shines a spotlight on that and tells you how real this actually is. If you don't believe it, go and watch it. It's there. And you touched on it. We love women, but I can't be around them too long. Men and women are different. What was it? Women are from Mars, men are from Venus, women are from Venus, whatever that was. We know men and women are different. We know we're wired differently. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't have equal opportunity. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. And so this really shines a spotlight. And for someone like me who has 2 daughters, it's really disturbing because it comes hot off the heels of adolescence, of course, which, really, again, shone a spotlight on this kind of misogynistic behaviour, this brainwashing of young minds, thinking that girls should be put down, should be in a certain place and spoken to in a certain way, and so much worse than that. And I suppose, in a way, if you are a parent or an uncle or an auntie or whoever, and you've got young girls or teenage girls, this is worrying because you do not want. It's not a sort of a certain part of society. This is everybody exposed to it because everybody's exposed to social media, because social media is not governed by anybody, and that is the problem. And yet again, the MPs voted against it being, sanctioned in some way, because presumably the tech giants and all the money that goes with it, I don't know, there has to be a reason for it, because it's despicable. How many children have to die? How many girls have to be abused? I'm on my platform, it makes me really cross, but Louis Theroux does a really good job, as always, with this and shining a spotlight on something that is so important, and for any deniers, it's there to see.
Well said. We move on to ITV1 and ITVX for a new drama series called Gone. And here's a clip.
What's the matter?
Where's Mum?
I'm Detective Sergeant Cassidy.
The minute I got in, I knew something was wrong.
If you knew within minutes something was wrong, why have you taken so long to tell us?
This is not about me.
She was scared of it. It's just you and I, my God.
I wasn't what you needed.
Look, the state he's in. It's that grief he's feeling. No guilt.
Wow, this is quite something, Ian. I've watched the first episode of this. I'm going to be binge watching this all week, I think. The music, I have to talk about the music. It's literally, it never stops. You know, there's a short break before the next bit comes on, and the mood music throughout this really sets the tone of the performance here. So this is about a missing woman, and it starts off with, David Morrissey plays the head teacher of quite a prestigious private school. Michael Polly is his name. And he's immediately, you're thrown into the sort of character that he is. And he does an absolutely phenomenal job, I think, in this part. He is unfazed by everything, emotionally inept, I would say. He just doesn't show any emotion at all. And as this head teacher, he governs the school with an iron rod. He very quickly, there's a very uncomfortable, I feel, again because of the music and the lingering looks, relationship between himself and one of the students. There's a kind of, it's very uncomfortable. I found that quite uncomfortable to watch, and I don't know why yet because I've not watched the rest of it, but it's just an uncomfortable feeling between the two of those. And his wife works in the school, and also his daughter. Now, you're thrown into this. He goes home that evening and his wife is missing. They bring another school student home with them who's coming for a music lesson. Sarah is his wife. She's a music teacher. She's due to teach a lesson. I mean, everything is, this man is absolutely on the hour. You know, he must be on time. Everything is regimented, and she's not there. So straight away we know there's a problem. And it's a 6-part drama, and already they're throwing you, you know, off scent all the time. You think you might know something and then you don't really. It's very, very clever. Now, the thing is with her disappearance is that they eventually get the police a little time after. He gets the police involved, and it's interesting because he says it's really important, that it's high priority, yet he's taken a while to actually let them know that she's gone missing. There's a few things that he says that makes DS Annie Cassidy concerned about, you know, what does he know? There's something a little bit suspicious about this. And suddenly this man is slightly out of his depth, slightly out of control, and he's never out of control. The daughter, I think Alana, Emma played by Emma Appleton, she is, I think, excellent in this. She shows so much emotion. They do this press conference, and he does this very dry, kind of straight to camera, come home, if we've had an argument, you know, we can sort it out. We've always done it before, kind of thing. And she's sat there and she's so authentic, just sort of rendered, not that they're looking to her to talk, but she's rendered speechless. She doesn't know what to do. And there's clearly something she knows, you know. She says it's all about her dad. There's an undercurrent here that runs through, and I say the mood music, the relationship he has with the kids at school, the way he runs the school, and presumably the same way he runs home, is absolutely fascinating. I'm really well and truly hooked on it. I think it looks great, and I'm really interested to see. I couldn't tell you what's happened at the moment. I just don't know. What did you think, Ian?
I like it. And David Morrissey, what a talent. He's incredibly versatile because he's great at comedy, but he's also great at straight drama. He can play the hero, he can be the villain, or in this case, someone who's inhabiting a bit of a grey area, because Michael Polly, well, he's a cold fish, but is he a red herring? Hannah, yes. Do you see what I've done there? So I feel as though there are kind of a lot of suggestions in episode 1 that he's done something suspicious. He knows more about his wife's disappearance than he's saying, which makes me think that's what the writer wants me to think. Anyway, second guessing. But yeah, Morrissey's great in this, and I particularly like Eve Myles as the police officer who's investigating. She's terrific in this, and you see her going out on a date with her ex, who she's sort of thinking about getting back together with. It sounds as if maybe he's been unfaithful or something, but you kind of almost shouting at the telly, don't do it, and everyone she knows is advising her, don't do it, but she's going to do it. So that's, often they give these detectives private lives and they're not altogether convincing. There has to be a problem, but in this case it's good. I agree with you. Emma Appleton is excellent as the daughter, yes, who in episode 1 does something that completely throws the cat among the pigeons. And yeah, I mean, this is, I hate to admit it, this is the kind of boarding school that I went to, which was grim. So yeah, I mean, I haven't a clue how it's going to pan out, but I am going to burn through the rest of it ASAP. Over on Prime Video, we have a new crime drama series called Scarpetta. And here's a clip.
Second time's a charm.
Good luck, Dr. Scarpetta.
I came back to this job because I didn't like the way I left things last time around.
I'm Dr. Scarpetta. It's a 5th victim in 2.5 months.
Second chance is pretty hard to resist, right?
Is it a second chance, or am I just looking to mess myself up again?
So it sounds like some kind of European crime drama that's showing on BBC4, doesn't it? Set in Italy or Spain. But it isn't, no. It's based on a couple of books by the best-selling author Patricia Cornwell. And Scarpetta is Dr. K. Scarpetta, an American forensic pathologist played by none other than Nicole Kidman. Yeah, pretty good, right? It's set across 2 timelines, which is often the case. And I was thinking to myself recently, do we need more series which start off with the naked, mutilated and sexually assaulted body of a young woman? And I thought, no, we don't. It's just far too common a trope, isn't it? And unfortunately, this is how this starts. And I got to tell you, it's pretty gruesome what they show. It's horrible, really awful. But anyway, it starts with Scarpetta's kind of coming back to her old job, and then we're going to flash back. It says 25 years earlier, and I thought, oh no, I hope Nicole Kidman's not going to try and play 25 years younger. But no, she isn't, because it's a British actor called Rosie McEwen, no relation, who plays Kay Scarpetta as a 30-something, just sort of trying to move on in her career and looking into the murder of an actor's wife. Okay, so there's going to be some kind of link between then and now. She's well cast, Rosie, because you think, yes, she could be a younger Kidman. And also you've got Simon Baker from The Mentalist, which was a hugely popular American series. He plays her husband, FBI agent Benton. And basically, Kay has come back to Virginia to take care of her niece, Lucy. Okay, stay with me. Played by Ariana DeBose. And Lucy's mother, Kay's sister, is called Dorothy, and she is played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. Again, she's another incredibly versatile actor, but I would say her performance in this is so over the top. It seems to have come out of a comedy film. It just really grated with me, and some of her behaviour I just thought was totally unbelievable. So I just thought tonally it's kind of all over the place, really. But I mean, it's great to see Kidman in a TV series, I will say that. You've got her detective colleague, played by Bobby Cannavale, from Boardwalk Empire, and cleverly, his son plays him in the flashbacks. So that's really effective because they look so similar. So yeah, I thought it was too gruesome. I'm fed up with seeing crime dramas that start with naked bodies of dead women. And I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was as if she'd kind of come from a totally different production. It was just bizarre. However, it's it's quite compelling, and I am interested to know, like, okay, what happened back then? There's a question that, like, did Scarpetta get something wrong back then in the light of what she knows now? And obviously, coming back to her old job, there are some sort of rivalries at work, and people are kind of seem to be a bit politically motivated. There's obviously there's huge drama at home with the sister. It's a very volatile relationship. So yeah, plenty of good stuff going on, but I did have some pretty serious reservations as well. What did you think, Hannah?
It's just too brutal. I just don't. I actually think you've hit the nail on the head. It's just too much. Every single crime drama starting with exactly that, like that kind of really bloody, gory, naked body. It's horrible. But also, I felt that it was a little bit predictable because of that. I'm not that keen on the bit that I do like, and I always say this, is when it's slightly multi-layered. So not only do you have the life at work, but you also see the difficult relationships kind of at home. And I think that does always give a slightly different sort of angle to things. And that was perhaps more interesting than everything else. A bit of overacting, as you say. Not the best script, in my opinion. And just do something a bit different. It just feels very, very predictable.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to finish with something that's a little bit more like comfort viewing, I would suggest. On Channel 4 streaming, we have a new drama series called A Woman of Substance. And here's a clip.
They think they're better than us. We don't want good. We've always wanted bad. And if it takes my whole life, I'm going to prove to them that they're wrong.
We're climbers, you and me, and we won't give up until we reach the top.
Yes, so for fans of Barbara Taylor Bradford, I am one of those, hands up for me. This is her 1979 novel, A Woman of Substance, and it doesn't disappoint. Firstly, I just want to say, if it's what you think it will be in spades. You know, that it does what it says on the tin. So please go into it with your eyes wide open to enjoy what it does, because it does it very well. Now, this is all centered around, for anyone that's read the book, it's all centered around this very spirited housemaid, Emma Harte. Now, she is played by, the younger Emma Harte is played by Jessica Reynolds, and I think she's absolutely brilliant in this. Brenda Blethyn plays her in an older year, when she's older, and it does open with her, but she plays her back in the day, and it jumps around a little bit at the beginning, but nothing problematic. And she always wants for more, and I have to say, I spent the first episode in tears. It managed to make me laugh and cry. Honestly, Ian, I'm so rubbish at these things. But anyone that gets sick or anyone that's read the book will know why. But anyway, I cried. So you see her working in this as a housemaid. She wants to work her way up. She wants to do more for her family. She's absolutely driven, and as I say, she plays this part really, really well. It's a proper bonk buster, isn't it? That's what this is. This is everything that you expect and more on that front. You know, there's the alcohol, there's the rich, there's the poor, there's the upstairs, there's the downstairs. You know, and essentially what happens is Emma, who's then, as I say, later played by Brenda Blethyn in 1975, is almost 80, and she's the world's richest woman. Now, the point is, there's a very checkered past to that, and that's what, in the middle of this, kind of pieces all that together, I suppose, and you find out why there's so much anger, upset, complete deceit, families turning on families, how you must stay in line. You can't marry beneath you, you can't marry above you, you can't have relations. It's everything you expect and more. There's nothing new here. You don't expect anything more here. Just expect a really good production of a book that you hopefully already love. And as I say, a real total bong buster. It's brilliant. I really enjoyed the first episode and I spent a lot of it crying. What did you think, Ian?
There's trouble at Mill and
Trouble at Mill.
the folk at the big house. I enjoyed it, I got to say. I wasn't so keen on the part set in the 1970s. I thought they were a little bit clunky, even though I love Brenda Blethyn. Just the script, not great. But yeah, it was kind of what I expected, and I agree with you. I think Jessica Reynolds is fabulous as the young Emma.
Sorry, Ian. I should also give a massive shout out to Will Mellor, who plays Emma's dad. I thought he was. I really am a fan of Will. I thought he was great.
Super. And I also meant to start by saying I don't think any of those male influencers would like where this story goes. A woman becoming the richest person in the world. Oh my God. You've also got, I think he's kind of been described recently in a review as like the scariest bloke on telly. Emmett J. Scanlon as the mill owner, Adam, and Leanne Best as his wife, Adele, who's basically kind of spends her whole time locked up in her room drinking. I mean, it's good stuff. It really is great. And it's easy to take the mickey out of this kind of thing. But it's thoroughly enjoyable and really well done. And, I would watch all of this. It's great. Now we've got to that time, young Hannah Maladio, where you find out what the hell you've been binge watching.
Well, I have to say I got rather drawn into Crufts. Now, there's so much. Well, it dominates the TV when it's on. I find it absolutely fascinating how brilliant dogs can be, and then I read the headlines about where there's some not so nice things going on, and I don't know where I sit on it all. But what I did watch was incredible with these dogs. They're just so clever. So I enjoyed that. How about you?
We can't have the sound on while we're watching Crust because it triggers Bob and he starts barking. But Claudia Winkleman's doing it this year, and she's hilarious. I saw her trying to take part in a sort of Labrador exercise class, and it was or a display, and it was very funny. And of course, her chat show. It starts this week. Looking forward to that. For me, I continue with MasterChef The Professionals and Pottery Throwdown. And on BBC iPlayer, I had to have a watch for the umpteenth time Misery, the film based on the Stephen King book starring Kathy Bates and James Caan. You dirty birdie. What an ugly mess. Now, we've just got time to look ahead to next week's offerings. So, what's on the Binge Watch menu, Hannah?
Well, Cillian Murphy reprises his role as Tommy Shelby in Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man on Netflix.
Peaky Blinders. And, oh yeah, you're going to enjoy this. Bob Mortimer sets out to defend his title as Prime Video's comedian competition Last One Laughing returns.
He was on the tube with me, Ian, the other day.
What?
He was. Yeah, I saw him in the flesh.
Good.
I loved it.
I can't top that. So we look forward to those and more celebrity anecdotes from Hannah. But in the meantime, dear listeners,
keep watching.